Host of California MUFON Radio, Lorien Fenton.
We have enough resources, we have enough ways to do it, and it can be done. And I'm just hoping that the younger people out there that are really trying to change the world, that I see these great videos. I gotta say, Facebook has some great videos about some young kids that are, very young, like, 7, 8, 9, and 10. They're like eating in restaurants and they see homeless people outside and they say, "Mom, can I give some of my food to that person?" And they'll run outside and feed them and do things. I mean, things that are just so hard, they touch my heart. They give me hope. They make me hope, wonder if we actually are going to solve this problem with this group of kids. And I think we do. I think we're going to have a chance to do that. I think it's going to happen. And it's just, what can I say? It's really an amazing thing. The young children have not been indoctrinated yet by school and by having things and beating out the next guy and making more money than the next guy yet, that they have that about them. And I hope that they hold on to it. I hope there's a way we can get them to hold on to it and help everybody. And I do have to say, Facebook had this great thing on there yesterday about, I don't know if it's still floating around, but it's all about addiction and about how addiction is a product of isolation. And if you bring, one of their examples was that most of the Vietnam vets came back from Vietnam, and there was like 80% of them were on heroin or morphine every day and stoned. And as soon as they got back and when they got around their friends and family and stuff, they all cleaned up. Their very small percentage of them stayed addicts. And the reason is because they were isolated and they were going to be killed the next day. So, why not be stoned out of your mind, right? So addiction is a problem, and the biggest problem with it is isolation. They have nobody to be with. They don't have a job to get. They are treated like scum, and they are incarcerated into another isolated area. And then, then they're put back out on the street and told to make a living for themselves out of these rehabs. And it's ridiculous. That's not how it's going to work. It'll never fix itself. It's totally the wrong attitude of doing it. And having said that, gosh dang, we're almost missed a break. So here we go, folks. We're going to take our break. We'll be back with Mary, Electra, and Robert Perala right after these messages. Welcome back, everyone, to the California MUFON Radio Show. I'm your host, Lorien Fenton. I am so glad you guys are here with us on our birthday night for all my Leo friends. I can only gather 2 of them this evening, but I guess that's more than enough because we're all having to bite our tongues and keep quiet and let the other one talk like good little kindergartners here on the show. But before we get into that, I do want to say that it is my birthday coming up this weekend. It's my last chance to tell you guys about it. I do hope if you live in the Northern California area or anywhere in California and you can make it on up to Petaluma, check it out at lorienfenton.com. That's LORIEN Fenton, FENTON.com, and you go to the conference page, and it's all there. It's all like an upcoming conference. Well, I just put my birthday down there. So you guys go check it out. You can make it. I'd love to see you. We're going to have a lot of fun. Robert's going to play music, and we're going to have a great, it's a hot dog day because I love turkey dogs, and I love hot dogs, and I just love I love all that food I'm not supposed to eat. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to have lots of cake, lots of ice cream, lots of, gosh, I don't know. Maybe we'll have some spirits there and we'll see. Anyhow, I know there'll be Diet Dr. Pepper flowing because that's my other favorite drink. I know I'm not supposed to drink diet drinks. You guys don't tell me. I know that. But when it's my birthday, I get to have them, okay? I get to have them one day a year. One day a week be nice. But so anyhow, if you can make it, please do. LorienFenton.com. Go to /conferences, and you'll find everything you need to know about the party. And sign up and be there if you can. Okay, so that's that. Now, I want to make sure that you guys know about Robert Perala's website, and I want to make sure you know about Mary Electra's new website, which I actually built, which I think is adorable. So, Robert, why don't you go first and tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, find you, follow you, whatever they want to do, and then we'll get back into our dialogue. I just don't want to miss it at the end of the show.
Well, you want to make sure that you turn off your computers, lock your doors, erase my phone number, and pretend you never heard of me again. No. Truth is we're just, the real news is we are getting ready to release the brand new, all new robertperella.com. And it's not up. There's just a beautiful sign there that says something wonderful is coming. And it just says the all new robertperella.com site. And that is going to debut late next week. We've just been working really hard on a show that is coming on air, and we've been filming. In fact, we're filming this weekend, believe it or not, before we even get to the party. We're going into the Summer of Love Museum and filming there. We're filming the Peralla Report. The Peralla Report was originally debuted in 2014, and it was part of David Icke's The People's Voice in London. And we filmed about 8 episodes, and then I sort of got on to another show and a music show and other things and lectures and blah, blah, left it. But then we realized in building the new website that we really needed to have dynamic content of where people could come to find interesting commentary, social commentary on everything from international and domestic policy, the war in Syria. It could go all kinds of directions, culture, society, what's currently the latest trending things. We might be talking about the Beatles one night, Russell Brand another night, what's the latest film that everybody is going to see, or it might be right there in the heart of the UFO community talking about disclosure and about what's happening with disclosure. So it's a 2 to 3 minute social media bullet that goes out regularly. And some episodes are already filmed. It's charming, it's funny, it's clever, it's quick, it's in and it's out. Because people don't have always 30 minutes, to give the social media aspect, unless you have a show like Lorien and they'll take the time to listen to you. But for a guy like me, they're going to go, okay, let's give it a shot, in and out. I've noticed a trend on Facebook like that. I noticed that. That's interesting, that 500 people will view something and only 12 people will give a thumbs up, and one personal comment going, hated it, but not really. Anyway.
We got to have that one troll everywhere, right?
You got to have that one. And you know what? That's the same guy, too. Always popping up with a thumbs down. It's always that one thumbs down that goes, hated it. Anyway, but it is designed for content. It is designed for information that if they know who I am or don't know who I am, you might find something very quick and fun out there. And we are a solution-based show. I am, Mary Electra. We're all in the business of really finding solutions for a troubled society, finding solutions for people that, whether it's the impoverished, whether it's people that are disenfranchised. We are the basic spirit community is one that is our moral and social responsibility to make the world or an individual in front of you in a better position. Are we not? And that is the ultimate design. So we will see my site up next week, and there you have it. Probably a Thursday or Friday next week.
And it's just your name, just like me, robertperalla.com, correct?
Yep.
Oh, cool. I'm very excited. Okay, Mary, it's your turn. Tell everybody how to find you and what you do and what they can, get from your site.
Gosh, it's so hard to condense it. But my site, so beautiful. Built by Lorien. It was amazing.
Thank you, Mary.
Go look at it. It's called Sound Healing Electra. SOUNDHEALING Electra, ELECTRA, and it's Sound Healing Electra, and my Facebook page is Sound Healing Electra, so you can go to Facebook and find me on Facebook, and that'll direct you to my website as well. And I guess you might have guessed by now I do sound healing, and I do spiritual readings, and I write books. And I just found an illustrator for my children's book. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have my children's book out called The Land of No Sleep. It's just the cutest little thing. And I have a couple CDs, and you can get those on the site. And I make spritzers. And
I love your spritzers.
Thank you very much. And as Robert said, I believe that we're here to advocate. Well, I know my journey is to instill in all those who come in contact with me that they are their own magic, that I am not their guru, they are their own guru, and that my desire is to open the channels within people to find their own higher guidance and their own magic. And that's what I believe my sound is for. And then I also do massage. And I guess Lorien and Robert could address that for you guys. They could tell you whether I'm any good or not. But
I got to say,
terrific.
Mary, it's beyond terrific. You know what's cool about it the most is that she sings to your feet. It is so cool.
And it's an Elvis song, which is even better.
God, I can see it now. Next time we all get together, we'll put our feet together and we'll all start humming Elvis. I can see it now. Oh my God! You know, when you're over 60, don't these strange things start happening? I'm going to be hitting 60 this year, so now I'm going to be part of the club, you guys.
Oh, and what a club it is!
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
You know, I find myself, you guys are going to love this story. I met the doctors the other day, and they say, they start asking these questions. Now, I'm going to ask you two about this, and then I want to go back to Russell Brand a little later. But I'm sitting at the doctors, and they start in on, first they ask your name, your address, your birth date. They got to have all that. 5 people have to ask you all the same question to make sure it's you. Okay. And I get that because we're all on Obamacare now and what have you. Right. So I'm in there and they got to make sure I'm not Joe Blow off, whatever, trying to get health care. Right. So, yeah, but they finally get to the questions of, do you feel depressed? Do you have a gun in your house? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, every time they get to these questions, I'm like, excuse me. Do you know that we have a constitution here in the United States? I go into this whole tirade to the poor technician person who's sitting there filling out these forms while they're doing my blood pressure and my temperature and all this stuff. This poor person, no matter who it is, it's a whole earful for 5 minutes while they're doing all this stuff about the Constitution of the United States. And they're all Mexican Americans. So, they're like, yeah, we know about the Constitution of the United States. I go, but you don't understand it, kids. You just don't get it. You don't have to ask these questions, and I don't have to answer them. And we go to this whole thing, and by the time they leave, they're always like, looking at me like I'm half crazy, but I hope I'm getting through to them because, the reality is there's no reason for them to ask me these personal questions, and it's none of their business. So anyhow, I just feel like I'm getting over 60, and I'm getting really wild with my answers.
As your blood pressure rises.
And don't forget your A1C and all these other things. Gosh, growing older is interesting because it shows you where you've really been,
Oh, yeah.
I had a doctor's report. I had my blood taken. I had everything, a full comprehensive blood panel and everything. And the doctor came in and I said, so how'd I do? And he goes, I need you to sit down for a minute. Oh, shit. When you hear, I need you to sit down.
What makes new Simply Summer's Eve Feminine Wash different? It's simple. Seriously, that's the answer. It's made with simple ingredients. Ingredients that help stop odor and help you maintain a naturally healthy pH, gently and effectively. Here's what Simply Summer's Eve ingredients do not include: harsh chemicals, dyes, alcohol, or parabens. And it comes in light, refreshing scents like mandarin blossom and coconut water. New Simply Summer's Eve Gentle Foaming Wash and Cleansing Cloths. Gentle by nature. Click the tile to learn more.
Oh,
a minute.
my God.
That's like, oh my God. I thought, oh God, I messed up. Oh God, my life has gone by so fast. If I thought my life was going to go by this fast, I think I'd want my money back. Oh God, how bad is it? And he goes, well, you know how they kind of tease you a little bit? They tease you because they want you to adjust. They want you to shift. They want you to think. So they'll let you fry a little bit there first so you're nicely baked.
I've been through that one. Yeah, I remember that.
You know?
Yeah.
So as your heart's racing, once it gets to a night, he checks your heart, he waits till your heart's racing, and then he gives you the news, you know, because he wants you nice and ripe, you know. But then that's what they're there for. They're there to help and everything, you know. I guess the best thing is preventive medicine is just being conscious, awake, and aware, and every day taking a self-audit inventory. You know, we can't afford to be just fly-by-night anymore. We don't have the luxury in this dimension even of just being casual about our diets. If we're going to be the way showers in the transition team, we're going to have to really do that inner work and everything. So it's always, I don't mean to be overly motivational here, but, you know,
that's
a good reminder.
Yeah, promise me on Saturday, Robert, we're going to eat everything we want until we get stuff full of bad stuff.
In other words, what you're saying is we'll begin our diet on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. I'll meet you and Mary for breakfast, and we'll have eggs, okay?
So what we're saying is train wreck on Saturday, recovery on Sunday.
You bet.
Yeah, I get that one. That's a lot of people live that lifestyle too. They live it constantly. Everybody's constantly making a deal with themselves, and it's the rewards. You know, the whole cycle of it is rewards.
Well, you know how boring it was for me for a year and a half to eat nothing but lettuce and chicken? I mean, seriously, I lost a lot of weight, but it was just lettuce and chicken all the time. You know, you get to a point where a Hostess Snowball is like, you're at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're laying in bed and going, I gotta have that Hostess Snowball. Do I want to get dressed, get in the car, drive to the 24-hour Safeway and buy it, or do I just want to lay here and dream about it? You know, and sometimes the Hostess Snowball will win. I call it the
Who would have thought?
Snowball attack.
Oh my God, who would have thought?
But it's like, you know, damn those 24-hour Safeways. I'm telling you, and all the 24-hour stores. Because it's like, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're thinking, God, Oreo cookies sound so good right now, you know? And you're just like, oh, but I could get in the car and drive down and get some. See, I don't keep any of that stuff in my house. So that I have to go through this whole thing to get them, right? So, and usually getting dressed, driving there is so much of a hassle that I go to the refrigerator and I get a pickle. You know, so it's something that's not going to break my diet. So, or eat an apple or something good for me. And I'm like, oh, this is so depressing. You know, the Battle of the Bold, Mary, you've been down this battle too. It's a horrible battle to have to live. I swear to God. What I'd give to be one of those skinny people on this planet. I get so much done, it would be insane.
You know, I'm going to say one thing, though. It's like, for me, just me personally, we're talking about doctors and stuff. I haven't been to a doctor since 1977, I think, except I had to go to the hospital when I had an allergic reaction to poison oak, and I had to get a shot because my body was swelling. So there are times when you really need medicine. And I'm not going to say that I'm in the best of health, but I can tell you that my body is strong. My body is wonderful. It's had some injuries, and I'm getting stem cell replacement to deal with my mobility issues, because I believe that really is our future, and it's regrowth within yourself. But as far as any issues I have, my whole physical being is so connected to my emotion and my spirit that if my spirit and my emotions are out of balance, my body is reflecting that. And for a long time, I have been really emotionally out of balance for a lot of years. And I know the reasons for it and all of that other stuff. But I know that one of the things that I'm having a very difficult time is bringing my emotional state of being back into balance. And I have a feeling there are many, 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 many people on this planet whose emotional being are really out of balance. And it's reflecting in their physical and spiritual natures. And so I just think sometimes we just need to address the fly on the wall, so to speak, because I don't know. I don't have one physical issue that I can't take back to some emotional charge that I have, and I don't really always know how to deal with it. You know what I mean? There are times, and I hate to say this, but I think that there are a lot of people on the planet that are feeling this, that I don't know if I want to be here always. Being on this planet is not as much joy as it was before 2001. And before 2001, there was a much different feeling. But when we had 9/11, the whole energy field on this planet shifted dramatically, and it took a long time for people to realize that shift was happening. It didn't really dawn on them till about 2008, but there was a massive shift, and I have a feeling that right now, after this eclipse and all of these things that are being aligned, I have a feeling that that's going to break up that kind of shield that it feels like has been around the planet since 2001. It's going to break things apart. And there'll be a lot of, hopefully, healing taking place, awakening taking place, and consciousness taking place.
I hope so, too.
How's that for taking everybody to a very dark place?
Well, no, I think that was very well said, because, Robert kind of, we were talking about it on the break, Robert. You were talking about Russell Brand, and you were talking about how we really need to pay attention to people that have good things to say about what's going on and brilliant things to say. Why don't we kind of segue what Mary just said into what you wanted to talk about?
Well, the goal's always the same. Most people just want to feel a sense of balance and a sense of connectedness. And for a while, drugs got us there to a certain degree. Maybe a relationship got us there, and then those didn't work. And then we live our life, and then we see other patterns appear and other challenges, and then it might lead to disenfranchisement. It might lead to, they always ask you when you come into a recovery program, is it trauma? Is it abuse? Is it narcissism? Is it codependency? Is it drug addiction? Did someone touch you? There you go. The list goes on and on. I think what Russell is courageously doing is using his celebrity and the fact that he's in motion pictures and he's a comedian and he's so hooked up in the music and art and film world that he's just laying out a real basic pattern that applies to us all. It doesn't matter, if you're world famous or you're a complete unknown. The first thing is to recognize that there's a pattern there that's not serving you at all. And the next thing is to, really seek advice and seek help. But you won't do that unless you really admit to yourself first that there is a problem. So it's really really a program of honesty more than anything else. And then just to be able to have the courage to ask for help. And no one has to be ashamed in any of this, because everyone actually is addicted to something. If you really ask a particular a Joe on the street who feels like in one of those train ride conversations or bus conversations where you meet a stranger and you find out throughout the trip that you're unveiling all your personal things you've wanted to say to someone that isn't connected with your friends, and you can do this sort of anonymously, you find that that it's just one addiction after the next. For some, it's the internet, television, it's coffee, it's a stimulant, it's marijuana, it's alcohol, it's whatever. But society is so disconnected now from the fact that automatic and automation has taken away so many jobs, and hope that the computer is your best friend and it's your worst enemy. And so many people are out of work and feel, and then that leads to the relationship being in trouble, that might be in trouble already, and then that leads to, I gotta change my feelings. And we're always constantly changing our feelings. And I'll admit to everybody, I'm 62 next week on Wednesday, and I'm seeing literally almost everyone I know in some form or another is hitting the wall. That's a metaphor for they've come to a wall where they've had to confront the toughest element about what's the primer, what is the very center primer of your dilemma. Where is this really coming from? If you could try to centralize it down, where is it coming from? Now, I know that that's not nearly as funny as the earlier part of our show, but it needs to be said because people need to feel safe and need to feel that they have someone to talk to. I get secret Facebook messages because they see my Russell Brand postings, or they'll see me in a lecture, and they'll say, okay, in the lecture, I really like the esoteric part. I like the UFO part. I love your story. Or I like this sort of planetary shift in consciousness that you're talking about. But then it got really personalized about, what do we do about this? You've got to have a plentiful backpack of anecdotes for living, or you're not going to really survive in this climate because there's so much pressure in every sector that it demands the pinnacle point of your emotional mastery. Your relationship mastery will be challenged and needs to be addressed. Your physical mastery, and certainly, how you stand, mostly, emotionally right there. So you're doing it. Your show's arriving. Your show offers a platform to talk about, spiritual stuff as well as how do people live better. And, I guess I would just say thanks for having me on the show that I got a chance to say this, because at the heart of all the sensational stuff in the lectures that I do that they like to hear about, and that's great, and the books, and this is fun, I really like to give them a solution-based thing that they can take home, and later we can talk about it, because if we're not serving, then we're not growing. And if we're not awake, we haven't done our homework. And we're here as spiritual messengers to enlighten the planet, to be stewards of goodwill, and to raise our standards. And a lot of people are hypnotized totally by the bombardment of everything that's happening to them, that we can lose sight of that really. So when somebody's coaching me, I'm listening. I'm on the field every day. They say, oh, where's the field? I didn't know you played something. Is it tennis? No, it's called life. And the field is just when you get up in the morning, step outside, and the day starts. There's the field. How are you going to play? What are you going to be defensive? Or are you going to be offensive? Are you going to have an intelligent plan? Are you going to give in? Are you going to be courageous? It's decision time. Right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I just wanted to say that I get up every morning. I've said this on my show a million times. Oh, you know what? We'll have to talk about it when we come back, because it's 9:30 and time for a break here out on the Pacific Coast. So you guys hang in there. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Robert Perella and Mary Electra. Welcome back, everyone, to the California MUFON Radio Show. I'm your host, Lorien Fenton, and I'm here tonight with Robert Perella and Mary Electra. I just want to say we're on IRN, Inception Radio Network. We're also heard over at Mike Vara's Late Night in the Midlands, and I believe we are also heard over at Chip Tatum's, I think it's Veterans Truth Radio. I think he started it up again. I do hope he's getting the files from Joe. I never know what's going on with all this stuff, but I do hope you guys are listening on IRN. I hope you're getting the app, the IRN app, and it's wonderful, and you can get it there right on the website, so I do hope you do so. And also, you guys, I didn't mention MUFON this week or last week, and I really need to do so because I want to thank them for putting up with me at the MUFON conference, because I'm always a thorn in their side, but what's weird is even Dave McDonald, the guy who gave me the blessings and anointed me to have a MUFON radio show, was happy to see me, and I gave him a big hug, and I thanked him again for letting me be the voice of MUFON here at IRN, and he just winked at me and smiled, and you know what, folks, that meant the world to me, because I just said, and I said, I am the S disturber, and he goes,
what you doing? Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Because I know it, and you keep going, girl. That's pretty much it. MUFON loves me in spite of myself. So I got to thank them for loving me and taking care of me. And yes, I do say things about them. And I think someone just fell. Mary, are you okay?
No, that was me. That was a thing on my desk. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was worried.
I fallen. I can't get up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Anyhow, so I just want to thank MUFON for putting up with me, and I want to thank Dave McDonald for being so lovely to me at the conference, and I do want to thank Jan Harzan. Always, Jan, I've got your back. In spite of the things I say, I still have your back, and I think you're one of the best director MUFON's ever had, and I just love MUFON, you guys. In spite of everybody leaving it, I'm still like the last holdout for poor MUFON, but I got to say, MUFON's got some good things going on. At least they had a very controversial conference, and I got to hand them that. It was something else. It was one of those conferences that, if you missed it, you really missed something that was extremely special. So, I can say I was there, I did that, and it was wonderful. So there we go. Oh, and don't forget, you guys, if you don't have a MUFON meeting near you, you need to call your section director, your state director, whoever the heck is on you go to the MUFON.com website. That's MUFON.com website, and what you want to do is go to where it says get involved, I think is the button. Somewhere on the website it says get involved, and it'll show you all the states in the United States, and you can click on your state, find your directors, then find your section directors or the assistant director, whoever they have up there, but start calling them, emailing them, and bug them and say, do you have a meeting every month? If you don't, I would like to start one. That's what you got to do, folks. That's the bottom line. That's what I did. One day, poor Ruben Uriarte's sitting at a table, and then I walk up to him and say, guess what? Starting a MUFON meeting. And he's looking at me like I'm out of my freaking mind. And what's he going to do? Tell me I can't start one? I mean, if there's somebody out there who's willing to volunteer to do it, folks, they will do it with you. They will help you. And it'll be a great meeting. I know it because you got the idea and the inspiration to do it for me.
There's one this Sunday at San Jose with Ruben. By the way, speaking of that, and it's at the
there is.
Community of Infinite Spirit at 1540 Hicks Avenue in San Jose, 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah,
with Ruben Uriarte.
Ruben does a meeting every 2 months down in San Jose. I do one in Northern California up in Petaluma every month if I can do it. And then Cynthia Siegel has one in Sacramento. There's one in Fresno. There's one in L.A. There's UPARs in Northern L.A. There's MUFON LA's in Orange County. There's a Phoenix MUFON that's really active. There's an Portland MUFON that's really active. I know there's one in Seattle that's very active. So you guys, there's really no excuse, especially if you're on the West Coast. There's always a MUFON meeting within driving distance. So, do get to one. You've got to be able to meet people of like mind, and that is a great place to do it. Right, Robert? You and I always sit in the back, and we just sit there and we point out all the aliens, don't we?
Yep, we do. Yep, no doubt about it.
We have the best time, too. It's just that there's no getting around how much fun it is. So I got to say. Anyhow, okay, so let's get back to what we were yammering about. I was telling Robert that, he says you got to get up every morning. You got to decide if you're going to, do good to the world, do bad to the world, whatever you're going to do. And I get up every day, and my ritual now is I wake up and I decide to put on my Joan of Arc armor, I call it. I throw on my battle gear, and I get ready for the next day, because what's going to happen is, inevitably, I'm going to wake up like yesterday, and there will be a big old scrolling thing on Facebook or on my private messaging or somewhere saying some disaster is happening in your life and you've got to fix it right now. And usually it's with somebody in the UFO community, and it happens about once a week where it's like this. I'm not going to go into detail of what I had to deal with yesterday, but it entailed me having to call 5 people in the groups, get a hold of an attorney, find out what's going on, inform somebody else that somebody was stealing their stuff, blah, 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 going through this whole thing. And then it took 2 hours, and I haven't even done my work yet, right? So I'm like going, this is the kind of stuff you get to deal with when you're actually in the thick of doing the right thing. It always seems to like poo-poo on you. So I want to throw that out there to everybody. If you're having a normal, everyday, nothing is a problem life, then you're not being a good poo-poo disturber. That's my opinion, and I think everybody should get out of bed every day and get ready for the stuff to be flinging, because, that means you're making a difference. And, even if you get a week in between, that's okay. If you get a week of every day is normal and fine, and you go to work and blah, 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 if you don't have one day where the poo-poo's flying, then you're not creating a change. So I hope that you guys, take it on, just say you want to be part of the poo-poo club and get up every day and throw that stuff around and make sure it sticks on somebody and that they're doing something about it. Because that's the bottom line. If we're not doing something about anything, at least I took a stand on Corey Good. I took a stand. I went out there. I went out on a limb. I did it. Okay. If I had just sat here and done nothing, where would I be? Where would I be? I wouldn't be any step closer to figuring out any problems in the UFO community. Maybe a few people have woken up because of what I've said. Maybe a lot of people have shut their ears because of what I said. I don't know, but I certainly caused somebody to do something. So that's what I'm hoping that this show's all about. That's what I give to you guys every week, is something that kind of goes, I wonder if that would work for me. I wonder if I could do that. So anyhow, that's just what I do, Robert. I get up every day and I go, okay, let the battle begin. So Mary, How do you face the day?
Oh my gosh. Unwillingly at times, with gusto at other times. Mostly I attempt to be reflective, because I really recognize that I generally create all my own realities. So I've either reacted to something that's a wounded bit inside of me that I haven't healed or dealt with yet, or that is still agitated, or I've been less than, I've gone to my shadow side, which is okay, because it's real important that we acknowledge we have a shadow side, and I am operating out of there. So I do my best to be reflective. I'm retired now, so I don't really. I'm an Uber driver, and I love Uber driving. I meet these wonderful young kids, and that's what's giving me hope for tomorrow. Is the youth and their ideas and their ideals and their passions and their questions and their quests, and it's just exciting to be stimulated by that. So I think God gave me Uber so it would bless me in a way to really see life through different eyes again. Since I had, I'm older than all of you guys sitting here. I'm 67, so I'm the old kid on the block, and I really, I don't have the passion that I used to have, that made me really want to surge and wake up alive and stuff. So I have to create that passion almost daily, and I think it's real important that everyone recognize that passion is an important aspect to our daily life. That if we don't have passion, it's very difficult to operate with any kind of emotional gusto.
Yeah.
I'm trailing off here, but that's how I meet my day, because I never know. And you know what I want to say is I'm learning to forgive the moments when I wake up and I'm not in this glorious, wonderful mood. I'm learning to say, okay, you're just in this place right now. We have to be okay and allow it to be and be okay and not judge myself or anything else. I just am really, every day I'm learning more and more how to be in a place of neutrality where I'm not in judgment. However, you know, I'm the greatest opinionated person on the planet, and I really must acknowledge that.
That's what we love about you, Mary. I swear to God. Hey, yes. I got a question for both of you. Now, you're both contactees, okay? So this is a big question. Do you think that comforts you in times of loneliness or feeling like you're alone, even though you're around a bunch of people? That having that kind of contact made a difference in your life? Or is it one of those things, kind of like me, where I've had some kind of contact, but, you know, I don't think about it often, and I don't do a whole lot with it because I haven't had the kind of contact Robert's had or that Mary's had, where they came to me and I felt special in some way. I've just always felt like I was being beaten up by the whole UFO community and never really got to see anybody, or nobody ever came and done light dancing in the sky for me. You know, I get to see a big black triangle, but it's more like, okay, lady, just, you know, we're here. We're the evil dark force, and, you know, here we go. I never got anything amazing. And Robert had probably one of the most amazing. I mean, Robert, you should be Corey Good right now. Oh my God. People have no idea. Your scenario, Travis Walton's scenario, these scenarios where these amazing creatures are with you and do these really wild things. I mean, it's just blows my mind. I mean, I could just see Corey Good now stealing these space beans, came in these silver suits. Just see it now. Anyhow, so back to my question. Now I'm making fun of all of our space people. Is really, did they make a big difference? Does it help you get through every day, or is it you just don't even think about it? Robert, you go first.
For a long time, you know, I didn't know what to quite make of it, and I knew it was a tremendous, fantastic thing. And it took me a while. It didn't take me too long. I mean, I'm the young kid in the story that, real quickly, you know, that was at the first UFO conference of its kind in Northern California. You know, after it happened this abduction happened in 1977 at Christmas time, I moved my way into April of that year to meet up with J. Allen Hynek, who was the founder of Project Blue Book, and William Shatner was there, and a young Richard Hoagland. Nobody knew who he was then, and Stanton Friedman. There was sort of a host of, and the Hertaks were there, and there was this young, there was a young 22-year-old, and that was me, and I was full of questions, and because I didn't know what to think of it. I mean, you know, I came out of it with a heck of a sunburn, and it sure it changed me. But I think to answer the question, it's later that I realized it is all part and parcel to the human experience. Having a spiritual epiphany or a direct contact with something extraordinary and unusual like that, you eventually see how it connects the dots to your own personal soul's growth. And you
that's right.
I guess if you connect it, that, you know, this is part and parcel to that there is something that is directive that was a part of my life before my birth, and that this is maybe part of the same source, and that it's a catalyst to drive you to look inward. So I've started studying the shamans, the mystics, you know, the renunciants, the rishis, you know, the yogis, the Vedas. I started looking everywhere and said, oh, okay, I get it. So I'm not terribly unique. I'm just connected. I was just connected to the universe directly there for a while. And sometimes they come, there's the little gray creatures that people talk about. There's benevolent human beings, the angelics, and mine happened to be some sort of like astronauts that had direct contact. So it seemed negative at the time, seemed very controversial, still is, turned out to be a real positive. It's kind of what you do with it, right? So there you have it. That's what you do with it. So I went on into personal growth and spirituality. What could be better?
Well, does it affect you on a daily basis still, or is it one of those things you just put back there and then when you need it, it pops in?
Oh, I think I look back at it, kind of historically with almost like a third party now, going, wow, that actually happened to me. I'm not really emotionally connected to it at all. I don't see it as a real negative thing. It blew me away at the time, but you have to remember that was, December 27th, 1977. It's so long ago. I'm not that emotionally attached to it. I think when I become emotionally attached to it is when I'm speaking in front of an audience and somebody says, "Can I share my story with you?" And I'm more attached to how it has affected someone else, and they come out and they say, "I need to tell you something that I've never told anybody." Those are the moments when I feel really attached to it. It's really through other people, which is a good thing,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's very interesting. Okay, Mary, your turn.
Oh, very, very different kind of reality. First, I need to say that I think all of my life I was surrounded by beings who were always protecting me. They were either angels or beings. I think they were beings. I was unconscious during most of that time, but as I grew older and became more aware and conscious, I could, in retrospect, realize how they've walked with me all my life. And they are my brothers, and they are my sisters, and they are my family. And now that I am awake, so to speak, they're with me always. I can't always see them, but in the desert when I go out and it's dark, they'll come and play with me, and they'll give me these wonderful shows and everything, and I'm always delighted by them. And do they have an effect on me? I believe that they have had a profound effect on me. They work through me in the work that I do always. And there are times when I have been in very dark places, wanting to denounce who I am as a spirit, and wanted to just, I've been very angry, and I've had to walk through that darkness to find my inner strength and my inner light. And they've never abandoned me. I've always abandoned myself. So I've been learning a lot. I wrote a book that basically they brought through me. They inspired it through me. And I've just had nothing but blessings come from my connection with my brothers and sisters. I call them the star beings, and I'm very close to them. And this dimension, this planet, has always been very foreign to me on many, many levels. Mm-hmm. And that's because I believe that I probably was always more connected to my spiritual essence and my star essence than my earth essence. And I've learned to adapt here, but there were so many things that were foreign to me. And when I was younger, it always seemed like there was some kind of rule book that I never got, that everybody else was living, that everybody else got, and I never got the copy or something, and so I didn't know exactly how to be, and I was always feeling on the outside, and I was always wanting to merge. I remember when we used to go to the psychic fairs and stuff, and I would sit there, and I really thought that I wasn't really doing anything. And every person who read me said, "Could you get out of my space? You're in my space." And I'm going,
I remember those days.
Oh my God. Their space. And I had to really learn, in this dimension, really learn to set boundaries, because in spirit form, and when we're in our spirit form and in our we just move in and out. There are no barriers. We don't have this. We're connected. There's no separation, and I had a difficult time with separation in this dimension. It was interesting to go through that and the way it manifested for me and stuff. So there was a lot of. I would have to say that this dimensional plane, Earth as it is, had more of an impact on me that I've had to work through than my connection with the beings.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm kind of torn between what both of you are saying, because I think I'm right in the middle. I think every day I wake up, but by the time I get to work, I've kind of put it on the back burner. But and then when I get through work, I'm much more conscious of it again. It comes and goes. It's very interesting how that happens. I think because of the work I do, though, I have to be really focused on it, so I don't get that chance during my work to even kind of let my mind go to that spot that where I keep all of my angelic friends, and it's really a spot in my consciousness, and I try to keep them alive within me at any given moment. So but yeah, they do suffer while I'm at work, but I think the rest of the time they're there, and I think they're protecting me just like they protect you, Mary, and I think that's their function. I think they're a very high dimensional being, and I can't imagine them wasting their time not being there to protect you. Just hanging out. No, they're not. They're just not going to hang out. They're not with me all the time in that sense, but they're definitely there when I need the help. They're really, really boisterous at that point.
Right.
Which is interesting, I think.
It's all really fascinating, because, Robert, I've been going to UFO conferences since 1997. And when they were in Laughlin, and then all the ones, and I've heard many, many, many of the speakers, and I've listened to the stories of the contactees and stuff. And my experience is so different. I never felt violated. I never felt I welcomed their energy, and I knew that when they worked with me, they were working for my highest good. They were supporting my higher self. So I never had that feeling that they were dark or harmful. And yet there are many who have had those experiences, and my heart goes out to them because my experience was so much different.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, you guys, you're not going to believe this. We only have a couple minutes left in the show. So, again, Mary Electra, how do they find you on your website?
www.soundhealingelectra.com, and pay attention to how beautiful that site is. And let Lorien know how much you like it.
Well, we still have a little bit of work to go. I have a shopping cart I'm trying to build into it, and yeah, it's gonna morph and change. But for right now, just for the month of August, I got to pay attention to other things. But I'll get back on it, folks, and do some really fun stuff with it. So, anyhow, okay, wonderful, Mary. Thank you. Okay, Robert, it's your turn. Tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Find me on Facebook. You can like me on Facebook if you like, and you'll see the announcement pop up. Hey, robertperella.com. It's the debut. And then you should see that probably next Thursday or Friday, and then the whole thing will be up all at once. Why spoil the party? It's sort of like just put it all up at once, and then let them peruse and enjoy. And thank you for having me on your show, a chance to speak to others and to wish Mary a happy birthday and all those in August. And such a privilege. Thanks so much.
Robert, I just need to tell you how proud I am of you, how honored I am to be your friend. I really am. You're a dear being.
Likewise, Mary. Likewise. We've known each other forever. And it's great.
I feel very blessed by it. And I love what you're doing, and everybody pay attention to what he's got to say. It's really wonderful.
And Robert,
truly.
Go to Lorien.
Oh, anyhow, I was just going to say Robert truly is one of the best guys out there in the business. He's been at it a long time. It's been 20 years now, at least. And, he's still going strong, unlike a lot of these people that drop out. And Mary, you've been there too. So I just want to say thank both of you for being in my life. I really appreciate it. And happy birthday to both of you. I'll see you this Saturday, Robert. Mary, I won't see you for a while, but next time we get together, it's Elvis, baby. I'm telling you right now. Elvis.
Happy birthday, both of you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Okay, good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. I won't be here next week, but I'll